Welcome to the satellite sector, where we deck build with the best from the cheapest and use neat interactions and tech options to create difficult situations for our opponents. This first episode will be dedicated to Adamancipators, which is the newest deck I've built in real life. If you're a new Yu-Gi-Oh player and you're familiar with Adamancipators, this is probably from Master Duel, where you've waited for them to build their entire board of 15 negations while also protecting themselves from Nibiru and the like by using Kwakimeiru Guardian as a target for their effects. But what you might not be aware of is that they are actually the archetype which is responsible for the eventual ban of Walk Dragon in the TCG. And don't get me wrong, Walk Dragon was an incredibly strong card from release, but it was held back by the fact that there wasn't a rock type able to utilize it. The rock type in Yu-Gi-Oh was never exactly good until the release of Adamancipators. Another trivia about the archetype is that, similar to Eldritch, it was not very well represented in person because it was released during a very unfortunate timing where there weren't many in-person events, and as a result, as I said, it wasn't really represented in the community. And after the banning of Walk Dragon, it just lost that consistency that made it competitively viable, especially now when the meta has progressed even further. That is, unless you play very unfun and fair code gates, which are also one-sided because you don't really care about them. I am talking about metagaming in the Eldritch style, in the 2020 style. Imperial Order is a very banned card for a very good reason. I actually had abused it a lot in a different deck, which we'll discuss in a later episode of this series. So what if I tell you that you can still play Imperial Order in July 2022? Veteran players probably already know that I'm referring to anti-spell fragrance. See, to put it simply, you don't need to play that many spells in Adamancipators, especially in a budget list where you cut small war out. But even then, your monsters do the searching, they do the special summoning, they do everything. In fact, the only 4 spells I play in my main deck are 3 copies of Adamancipator Science, because the card is probably the best support for the archetype, and Called by the Grave, which is already limited, and you play it to protect yourself obviously from the ashes and the like. In the present format, Anti-Spell Fragrance is a perfect way for stopping branded players from using their powerful fusion spells, and is very solid against pretty much every deck that uses spells as the backbone of their strategy. Additionally, the card is exceptional in Adamancipators due to Adamancipator Raizen, which obviously has spell and trap protection, but its other effects allows you to return your opponent's card without targeting to their hand. So what you can do is you can set up Anti-Spell Fragrance, force your opponent to set all of their spells, and then you can return them their hand with Dragite, and they can't chain with quick play spells because on the card it says cannot activate them until their next turn after setting them. So you basically walk them out of spells and you play a bit more convoluted Imperial Order, but still it's the effect of Imperial Order, and it's very one-sided and it could be very toxic and can very well win you the game in certain matchups on its own. Next on the list we have Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring. Wait, I know what you're thinking, that has to be a mistake, but please hold that thought for a second, because yeah, Ash Blossom doesn't really fit the narrative of the video. It's an expensive card, and also I don't have it. Yeah, like that's right, I never bothered to save money for a playset. Have I lost many duels because of this? Yes, but I have a card which is arguably stronger provided you're going first, and especially it works really well in Adamancipators. That card is Mistake. That's it. You don't search in the archetype outside the Fire Synchro Leonite, which is probably the least useful Adamancipator card. I still play it in my deck because it's nice to find Adamancipator Tuners and Adamancipator Science when you don't hard draw them, but it's just one card out of 15 cards in the side deck and 14 in the main deck, so you can allow yourself to find space for Mistake. I'm still playing around with 2 Mistakes. I don't have a 3rd copy, but I don't think I'll be playing a 3rd copy. I think 2 copies is just fine. Like, I don't want to see multiple of them. I don't mind if I don't see it, but when I see it, it usually wins me the game. Also, you can just board out game 2 and 3 if you know you're going second, so you don't recon Mistakes and Anti-Spell Fragrances. So just make sure you have a good side deck, and it doesn't have to be anything expensive. I played Dark Ruler No Mores and they were just reprinted in the Alba structure deck, so they're pretty cheap, and you can basically figure the rest out. Yeah, these are my 2 tech options. To conclude this video, let me address the elephant in the room. I know I'm recommending trap cards in a combo deck, which going second could be bricky, but Adamancipators don't really need hand of 5 monsters. In fact, you're probably better having fewer monsters in your opening hand, just because it's more likely that you're going to hit one of the top 5 of your cards by your tuner effects. This is the video. If you're a friend of mine, I really appreciate your support by watching this video, and also if you're a random person who just decided to watch this entire video, I really appreciate you as well.